and welcome to episode 59 of Rigor Mortis Paranormal. Tonight is a special episode. We did an interview with
Isabel Perez,
and she is the author of the book An Evil Among Us. I am David. This is Robert, Jasmine, Kory, Ian, Diego, and Kayla, and Amy.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's happening? Oh, there we go. That's the way we like to start it.
Isabel Perez, she wrote a great book, An Evil Among Us. She gave a great interview.
Thank you so much for
definitely for calling us back and getting in touch. Yes.
Yeah, saying what's going on with you guys, and get my story out.
And I'm sure she's doing that right now because we said we were gonna have this bad boy out sometime around the bunny vacation. What is the Easter? The bunny.
The bunny vacation.
Yeah. So. You know what's wrong with the eggs, man? Yeah, the brisket. Y'all guys know, man.
The holiday with a brisket.
But yeah, we're lucky to get it
all
back.
the Mexicans.
Easter.
Oh,
Easter. Bimbo. So you didn't know what Easter is. Yeah, you guys know barbecue, man. But yeah, we were lucky to get her back. Yeah, it's great to be back, right, fellas? I mean, it's been a while, man. Seriously.
Good God. Yeah, I feel like doing cartwheels, and it's not something I should be doing.
Well, yeah, doing it again for a while already.
Yeah, for another year.
Yeah, I mean, just hopefully we can get involved with more stuff. But it is nice to be back. It's just one story today, but but
it's a doozy, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, she's probably pissed off. Like, nah, I'm gonna take it back. Don't even air that. Guys, a bunch of lazy guys. I want to curse. I'm just kidding.
Well, we got Emmy here tonight because she's gonna tell us.
She's gonna do all the cursing for us.
What's your favorite beer?
Nothing.
Good answer. That's what I wanted to hear.
I drink liquor, right?
Yeah, that's what. Beer, right? Well, I started at a young age myself,
How old are you?
You want to look like me, you start early.
6. You're old.
No, I'm not like 12 or 11.
For drinking
That's
beer.
old.
6 is old.
We're ancient.
Did I feel like a dinosaur?
Boy, I started drinking at 3.
Yeah, look at me now. There's nothing wrong with me. Just gotta find I'm wearing a moo-moo pretty soon, right? That must be awesome, right? I mean, not really.
Wear a moo-moo?
I mean, like if you just give up, right? You just give up and you just have like a big ass dress on. Yeah,
nothing underneath it.
Ew, that is kind of nasty.
Well, I mean, nobody has to know, but I mean, it just be nice.
Definitely did smell that shit, man.
Fresh.
Dude, man, just to grind it.
Nice and fresh. Fresh.
Plenty of baby powder.
Or you want a lady with moo-moo?
No. Both. Mom get plumped up like
Or
me.
you want a lady you can share moo-moos with?
Yeah, we won't wash it, right? Mad.
So gross.
No, but I don't know why I was talking about that, man. But yeah, because it's just easy. You just go to work and it's just did you wear that boo-boo yesterday? I got an office job. Just paint a tie on the front, right? Yeah, just like that.
Pair it with a blazer.
Did you wear it for the bunny vacation?
Yeah, for the bunny vacation. I got, what was it? A light blue one, right?
That's your
yellow.
That's your barbecuing.
There will be stains on that bad boy, right? Dude, it seems like I stained all of my shirts. No bullshit. Yesterday, what are those tacos called?
Birria
tacos. Awesome tacos, man. They look like crispy tacos, but
Dip them in the sauce.
Holy
delicious, man.
Okay. Wow.
Very good.
That sounds good.
Ready?
I don't think so.
They're good, man. They're good, and they had a whole bunch of them yesterday, man. So I seriously didn't eat all day. I drank all day, no bullshit.
Oh man.
So no, I did, and then I was like, when the beer gets to your stomach, it just starts to hurt it.
Yeah.
And then so I got home and I was like, man, I saw that birria taco and I was all in like la 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 la. It was like, I was like doing twirls and stuff, and that's all I heard, man. It's like, hey, Dad, get some. And I was like, fuck, I'm way ahead of you, dude, because I was so hungry that I snagged. No bullshit, I'm a fat ass. I got full on 3, but I had 4, so I had to, that fat time, I had to eat that last one, dude. It was, and then they hooked me up with a chango, so that was even better. But I'm not kidding, man. I was done with that first one. Barely took one bite, man. It's a brand new shirt, man. Like, damn, man.
Man, that sauce drips everywhere.
Yeah, like if I go.
You see those baby bibs where it has like a little bowl in the bottom where it catches?
Oh,
Yeah, you can eat it again, right? Just dip it in that.
You can re-eat that whenever it catches.
just dip it in there.
Yeah, it's a dip container.
Yeah.
Did you stick or something?
Yeah, shit. I think that's what.
Big
That's
RP ones.
something, right?
Oh, some R&P bowl catchers.
Yeah, Rob's specialty bowl catcher. You see me in the front, just a big mess. But no, yeah,
With
dude,
food on your shirt on the picture too.
With a big smile.
even with the bowl, you still got food all
We
over.
gotta make a commercial like that. Are you fat and have stains on your shirt? And then like when you bite into something.
But you should make it shoot all over in the juice. The bowl doesn't even do anything.
It's like, dude, what did you put in that taco, man? Everything.
It's like a water balloon. Just with juice.
Oh, dude. But how do we get there?
I know. It's the usual.
But man, awesome to be back. And another thing I think that at this point I will beg. But we need stories, fellas.
Please,
We lost our stories on what you got. We have some, we do, but like they're slim pickings, man. It's like when you're pulling out the beans, the bad rocks and stuff from the beans. Well, we got the rocks, so.
It shows you how you people view our stuff? Like, do people still listen to us?
I imagine, you know what's
You're not
weird?
supposed to say that on air.
No.
The answer is no.
It's weird. It is weird because, like, you know how we get those,
Reports?
yeah, you know which
Yeah.
ones I'm talking about, right?
The analytics are.
There you go, the analytics. So they come
Yeah.
out and then they'll say, like, it's weird too. It's when we come back from a long hiatus. Like,
Oh yeah, we
like
see the
somewhere
spike,
like in
yeah.
Beijing, we're like at number 14.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, thank you, but I mean, like,
Only 14 podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 12 podcasts, but we're number 14.
no, but I mean, it's weird. Like, no, not that. I mean, because we've gotten close. I know we shot up one time, and man, I know we got real close in one of them, but it's never here, the United States. It's like but we've done pretty good here, but that's when we're consistent.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, we need stories. Yeah,
We need stories.
Hearing you say that, I'm like, maybe it's just the government spying on us.
Yeah.
Like China and shit.
Yeah, it's China. The air balloon.
We're listening to
Picked up our
listen to all
podcast.
these podcasts. What they actually think or say. And
That's what that balloon was flying over our country. It picked up our podcast.
Find out with this biscuit, guys. Are they gonna steal my idea, right? You see a Chinese, Chinese bit. Oh man, I was like, man, they was right, man. That's some bullshit. And they're making millions. I'll be like, fuck, man.
Instead of RMP, it has PMR. Just put them backwards.
Do you have a terrifying true ghost story you want to share? Submit your story to Rigor Mortis Paranormal Podcast by visiting www.rigormortisparanormal.com. That's www.rigormortisparanormal.com and click on the Submit a Story button. Your story will be heard on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and all major podcast platforms. Rigor Mortis Paranormal Podcast. Let your story be told.
I think what it is like our regular lives kind of caught up with us. Like we have to do our real job. Jasmine and Kory, they're doing so much coaching and being out there with woo!
You hear that one?
You love that bubble, don't you? Yeah.
You gotta get here.
And then like me also. I mean, they've gotten me working. Like I'm serious, man.
Hey, you moved up, didn't you, too, bro?
Yeah,
You've
but I
gotten,
mean,
like
it's-
several promotions since.
Yeah, my knees are kind of hurting. Yeah.
Whoa.
But the thing is like, man, I know we all miss this, man. I know, like, and then we're always talking about the music thing and the podcasting, and I mean, we still love doing this, and we're hoping to come back, and we're hopefully with that deal, Jazz, that you're talking about, if that comes through.
Yes, I'm gonna try to
we'll have more stories from you. You know.
yeah.
And we'll fucking air them right away, right?
Yeah, right away. But our equipment's getting old too. Like that ball doesn't really even stay on that mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, man. I got sat on it by an accident.
You, bro.
Why, right?
By accident.
Yeah, it's an accident. Yeah.
That's so bad. For sure, I know what you guys are going on with the stuff and things.
Stuff and things.
Yeah, you know, stuff
Things and stuff.
I've been stuffing a lot of things in my mouth.
Whoa.
In my mouth. Oh, that's even worse, right? I take that back. In my stomach.
That's not any better.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, something way off. In my ass. I mean, sorry. I'll just stay quiet over here.
No, but the very last time we recorded, I don't know when this was. I always remember. I was talking about. I mean, Rob, I know you especially felt this during extra long bowel movements.
Oh, yeah.
When your legs start to fall asleep.
That's time to one stand up and walk around, man.
I found out. I figured out a way to help combat that and make things a little better for yourself when you do stand up. Because it happens to me so much.
You lay down and take a shit.
No, you get one of those little poop stands that you put the stools, yeah, that they were marketing to their wives or
The
whatever.
stool, I have a poop stool.
Like this Mother's Day that you can get for your wife.
And I got it for Mother's Day.
What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, like the boys use it as a step stool.
Yeah, I got that in a coffee mug.
It's where you
That fiber on the coffee or
you just put your legs on the stool where your knees are up. They're above your like they're at chest level.
But my legs still fall asleep.
They still fall. Yeah, that's not what I was saying.
But I've been there for a long time.
I would definitely have problems with that, man. I got a lot of sprayage, man. That's why
My knees are like
I am not
chin
sitting
when I
on
use this stupid thing. The arms like way up here. I can't shit like
Is it really
It does
that?
help though. It helps.
Yeah, like with your bowel movement, like
Yeah.
it's smoother or whatever. I don't know.
Oh,
So
well,
where
I
do you
guess
put
that's what it
that?
does. It helps come
Under
out.
your feet. It's just a
Yeah, you put your feet on it like this.
little step stool.
It's supposed to be like the
Oh.
natural
Yeah.
position, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, because you remember how somebody that's related to us would squat like a frog?
It helps.
Oh, yeah. The gargoyle stands, yeah. That one helps, yes. But I can't stand on those no more. I'll break a toilet seat, man. But I seen that shit. I didn't know what that was. I
You
thought
didn't see the stool right next to my toilet?
No, I thought someone was I thought that was for you painting your toenails. And I thought that too. I was like, you know what? If I did that and I bent over to do that, I know where this is going, man. I got hieroglyphics in the back of that bowl, man. Just big time, man.
I have a good
Oh my God,
Did we ever?
poor Isabel. She's gonna be like, what the hell did
What did I get myself into?
But
Hey,
yeah,
do we ever get into? I don't know if we talked about this before. Like, okay, so I was reading something and it said like if you sit down and you stand up to wipe. Did we talk about that?
oh yeah, we did. I just didn't understand.
Okay.
Did we?
I don't remember
Do you
that.
stand or?
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, because
Well, we
Yeah.
did, but guess which one it was on, right? No, we didn't use none. Yeah, we did.
did we?
No, we didn't.
I don't remember talking
I
about
don't remember
that.
talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
think, like, yeah, I remember that. I just don't remember where that was at. Yeah, the
Or
stand
where
up.
it went?
What is?
So like, because people are like, no, so I was reading something and a lot of people are like, oh, I stand to wipe my butt, and I sit and I wipe my butt, and so it was like a debate, like which is the right way to. But in my mind, if you stand up to wipe your ass, that shit's just gonna.
Yeah, you're not gonna get up. Because the butt's closed.
You're gonna. You're not just wiping your butt.
Yeah.
You're wiping your ass.
You're wiping your
Your
butt
cheeks. And then too, you gotta worry about that because, like, I'm serious, like, yeah, me and my alligator arms and my Tyrannosaurus ass, man, it's bad, man. I get cramps. Oh, my ribs, you know? Yeah.
Get out of the shower.
You don't gotta stand up and clinch. You can stand up and keep them spread, you know?
And I figure you still have to squat, like, get in the birth position.
You stand up squatting and go ahead first to the wall.
Doing gymnastics in the restroom now. Here we go.
Oh my
fucking.
Sorry, Isabel.
Oh my god, yeah.
Whoopsie.
I always do my business. I'll finish it within the first maybe 3 to 5 minutes. But yeah, but like the wiping is what takes the hour.
The other
Right?
25
Yeah,
minutes.
it's just, but no, because you'll get into reading something, or you're doing something, or watching a YouTube video, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
like, oh, that Clint Eastwood, he's something else. The old shit, right? Or you're just watching whatever, and like you're there.
Hour-long documentary.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget I'm on the toilet.
No, Cash goes in there and does his business. That's it, and it's quick usually. He just he'll go to the restroom and just hear "Mom."
Oh yeah.
Just wants to get out of there.
It's better than fiber at the picnic.
Tacos?
Yeah, the tacos are good. The carne asada tacos, though, man, shit. I don't know. I saw one downtown. I don't think I'd eat there, man, because it's.
Oh man.
What did
They
they tell
used
us?
to be
A Hawaiian
cheap,
food.
right?
There were 2
Yeah.
for $1.
Yeah.
2 for $1. A hamburger, 99
Because
cents.
I was like, fuck yeah.
Man, the hamburger 99 cents. So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
And then we got a shitload of like carne asada, man. They were good, but they were real watery. But man, I guarantee.
They taste good, but those
Yeah.
are like 2 weeks old of meat. They put it in the freezer
Yeah,
and
it
then they bring
started
it out in the morning and
My
they warm
started
it up.
off as pork.
super low then.
Oh, same here.
Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't really.
It's like-
yeah, now I'm like.
They're delicious.
I mean, 2 for $1. I was like, shoot.
Yeah, you
man.
can't beat
It's like,
that, man. Please say, fellas.
Yes.
Is it time?
Yes, this podcast is gonna be as long as one of my logs, so we're good. Poor lady, she's like,
Why?
why did I give her my story? I'm sorry.
I'm out of this
She
one.
knows, right? She knows what kind of podcast
I
this is.
think so. I asked her. I think she said she has heard it, but I don't know if she was just being nice. I don't know. Next time we hear from her, you son of a bitch.
You take that goddamn podcast down now.
Just wham.
She's gonna write about us in her book.
Or she's gonna be like, I have so much better shit to know. Like,
Thank you guys so much.
Without further ado.
Oh yeah, what do you say?
Let's do it.
All right.
Hi, my name is Isabel. First of all, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to tell my story on your podcast. I was very excited to have this interview. So again, thank you. Well, I'm going to talk about my story and what happened to me and my family. I don't really know how it started or where it came from. My husband was stationed at Fort Hood. He was in the military in the Army. And we bought a house in Belgium, but we bought it back in 2009. And it was brand new. We were the first owners. So we didn't start having issues with the house till 3 years later. Prior to that, we had absolutely no issues at all with the house. It just seemed like, just very mysteriously, just all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, came to be little incidents here and there that came to be. And it took us a good while to figure out that something wasn't right, because I really can't even pinpoint the very first incident that happened, because there was a lot of small little incidents that would happen here and there, and we would just dismiss it as a coincidence, or it was something that was strange to us. So we were never in that mindset that it could be paranormal. And a lot of the incidents at the beginning started out as just small little things, such as our keys missing, or shoes that we put in our bedroom ended up being somewhere else that we couldn't find. It was always kind of like mischievous little things. And so that's why we really didn't make such a big deal about it or worry too much about it, because it wasn't nothing big. It was just little things here and there, but they started to add up. And the very first thing that I can recall is I had been waking up in the middle of the night every night for about 2 weeks. And when I would wake up, I felt frightened. I felt as if though there was somebody standing right at the door to the entrance of our bedroom. And I couldn't shake that feeling off. I could just feel the eyes on me, but I couldn't see anything or anybody. And so I would have a hard time going back to sleep because I was afraid to close my eyes. And so that took place for about 2 weeks. And one morning, my husband wanted to get up early and go run some errands and stuff. And I told him I was just going to sleep in because I was really tired. And I let him know that I hadn't been sleeping very well the past 2 weeks, and he asked me what was going on. And so I told him, and my father had passed away 2 years before, so he asked me if I thought maybe it was my dad. And I said, I don't know. I said, not really. He asked me how I felt, and I told him I feel frightened, like it scares me when I wake up and I feel like I'm being watched. And he said, well, then it can't be your dad. I don't see any reason why your dad would come back and haunt you. And I said, yeah, you're right. And so then I just like I said, just dismissed it as nothing. And the little incidents continued until one day, and I would say that it was the beginning of the most, the most profound incident. At the very beginning, we were getting ready for spring break, and every time we go on spring break, I was always so used to doing a little bit of spring cleaning before leaving to come visit my family in Corpus. And so I remember the day very vividly, March 12, 2012. I woke up really early in the morning. My husband went out to work. My 2 boys were sleeping, and I decided to start cleaning. And I started in the kitchen. And once I was done cleaning everything, I grabbed my vacuum and started vacuuming the baseboards, when all of a sudden I kind of like ran out of cord. It was kind of like I didn't have enough space. So I got up and I noticed that the vacuum was kind of like leaning against the leg of one of the chairs. And so I just kind of moved it aside with my foot. And all of a sudden the vacuum just went backwards a few feet. And I didn't think anything of it, even though we have like a flat floor. There's like no incline or anything. It just rolled straight back. So I didn't try to go and get it. I just picked up the cord and I pulled the cord towards me, and it wouldn't move. And I tugged at it a couple of times and it wouldn't move. So at that point, I just figured that maybe the wheels had locked. And so I don't know why I didn't go up to it and just grab it, but I just picked up the cord with both my hands and I pulled it real hard towards me, and then it pulled me back forward. Like I actually felt the hard tug of the cord pull me forward. I took 2 steps forward. The finally that I let go of the cord and I ran to my bedroom. And I sat there just thinking, like, what just happened? Even at that moment, I wasn't thinking it was anything paranormal. I started to think that maybe I had imagined the whole thing. I started thinking that maybe it was all in my mind, or that maybe I was just so stressed out from not sleeping that I was just imagining that these things were happening. So I called my husband and he didn't answer. And so then I called my mom and I told her what had happened. And I was really upset. And my mom started laughing. I remember she started laughing and she said that she couldn't tell me what happened because she wasn't there, but that it was probably nothing and that I probably just imagined it. And so I hung up with the phone with her, and I remember I started to cry because I started thinking that maybe I was sick or something. Like, I know that before my father passed away, one of his nurses told me that she thought that maybe he was schizophrenic. And so I started thinking that maybe I was having some sort of mental breakdown as well or something. So it was, it upset me the rest of the day. I right away woke up my boys because I just didn't feel like being the only one awake at the house. So I woke them up and we just started doing little things here and there. As the days continued, before we were supposed to be leaving that Thursday to Corpus, more and more things would happen. And it started to get to the point where it's just frustrating. Such as like, we would open up the windows to air out the house during the day, and my husband would close them and lock them. But then the next morning they would be open again. Just things like that. And so I just couldn't wait to leave. When we finally left the house to go on spring break, I was so relieved. And as I got home, I would always go visit my sister-in-law. And so I went to go visit my sister-in-law, and I was so upset. And she could tell that there was something that was bothering me. But I didn't want to say anything to her because, first of all, I didn't want her to think, yeah, you are crazy. I wanted to tell her so badly the little things that we had been experiencing and the incident with the vacuum, but I was too embarrassed. I thought maybe she was going to think that I was crazy, especially because she was a Jehovah's Witness, and I just thought, yeah, she's going to think that I'm crazy. But to my surprise, I went ahead and I told her, and right away she asked me if I had brought anything into my home that I didn't have before, or if I had bought anything at a garage sale. And I sat there thinking about it for a minute, and I thought, no, I had nothing. And then I remembered that there was an antique jewelry box that a parent from my school had given me as a gift, Christmas gift, and she had bought it in Mexico. So I told my sister-in-law, well, the only thing is a gift that somebody gave me. I told her about the jewelry box and where it had been bought. And so she told me, well, I think that maybe you need to get rid of it, because sometimes when people buy things in Mexico, you don't always know what shops, they're buying from. Some people in Mexico, there's, have the reputation for doing witchcraft or whatever to get more business. And she said, maybe it's just something like that. Maybe she just bought it somewhere where it wasn't good. So she said, just get rid of it and you should be okay. So I thought, oh yeah, that's right. I felt so relieved. It was like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. So since, I couldn't wait to leave the house, and then at that point I couldn't wait to go back, because I just wanted to hurry up and get rid of the jewelry box so that everything could be okay. And so when it was time to go back home, I was so excited. And I had told my boys, all we need to do is just get rid of the box and everything's going to be fine, But I remember thinking, the closer we got to coming home, I just felt frightened. The thought of coming back into the house and grabbing the jewelry box and throwing it away or getting rid of it, I don't know why, it just frightened me so much. And I think that it might have even frightened my boys, because there was the last 45 minutes before we got home, there was just like a dead silence. Nobody said anything to anybody. We didn't talk at all. And so I came home, and yeah, we ended up getting rid of the jewelry box and everything. But the things continued. And the incidents started getting more and more worse, so to speak, a little bit more sinister. And so after my vacuum incident, I remember being at work one day. I worked at a school, and my son called me, and he was so frantic. And I asked him what was going on, and he said that he was in class, and there was just spots of paint appearing on his shirt. And I said, you know what, Matthew, I don't have time for this. I'm real busy right now. I'll talk to you later. And I just hung up on him. And about 10 or 15 minutes later, he called me back. And again, told me that he wasn't making anything up. He wasn't playing any games. That he was sitting at his desk, and more spots of paint were just appearing on his shirt. And I thought, I don't know what to tell you. Like, maybe you just picked up a shirt that was already dirty, and you think that it's paint that's appearing. And he said, no, Mom, you don't get it. You don't understand what I'm saying. It's paint, like wet, actual paint that's just appearing on my shirt. I'm already starting to get in trouble with my teacher, because she thinks that I'm being funny, that I'm doing this to myself. I have no paint anywhere near me, not in my backpack or anywhere. Come and pick me up. And so I can't just leave work and pick you up because you have paint appearing on your shirt. I don't even know. Like, I'm just so, shocked. I can't even understand what you're telling me. So I went ahead and ended up leaving work a few minutes early to go pick him up. And by the time I picked him up from school, his shirt was just covered in paint. And I was just so taken back by that, because I thought, you didn't do that to yourself? And I said, don't be playing games with me. Like, honestly, you didn't do that to yourself. And he was just so like, no, Mom, I didn't do this to myself. And I can't believe you didn't come pick me up. And so I started to feel bad, but I was just so puzzled, because I thought, what is that? Like, what is going on? And it was just so upsetting. I started to feel that weight on my shoulders all over again. And so when we got home, my older son had gone to work, and it was just me and my younger son, and my husband was at work. And he invited a friend over, and I ended up picking up a pizza for supper. And so I was in the kitchen, and I called my son and his friend, to come over and eat. And all of a sudden, I came to the living room. I was watching television, and my son and his friend were sitting in the kitchen. And then all of a sudden, I heard my son just yell. And so I ran to the kitchen, and I said, "What's wrong? Why are you screaming?" And he said, look at my pants. He said they have paint on them, and he had like a perfect circle of white paint on his pants. And I just looked at it, and I thought, you did that to yourself? Like, he's like, "No, Mom, it's just appearing." And then his friend was just as shocked, because I looked at her and I said, "Did he do this to himself?" And she's like, "No, ma'am." She's like, "We were just sitting here, and the paint it just appeared." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, I don't know what to tell you." I said, "Just take off the pants and, put them to wash and just change. Go change." And so I guess, his friend was already starting to get a little bit scared. So she right away called her mom to come pick her up. And me and my son were just looked at each other and just dumbfounded, because we just couldn't figure out like what was happening. So then I thought, okay, you know what, that's fine, let's just calm down. There has to be a rational explanation for this. I don't know what it is, but when your dad gets home, we'll talk to him, and I'm sure that he'll figure something out. So the next day, we couldn't come up with anything. There was no paint anywhere in the house. My older son was an artist, a little bit of an artist. He was the one that would paint, but all of his paints were put away in his closet, and he wasn't even at home. So I told my husband, you know what, maybe we should just get the house blessed. Maybe the jewelry box did have something, and maybe it's just better we just get the house blessed. And so that's what we did. I called the priest to our church, and he came right away the next day and blessed the house. And we felt so much better, because we thought, okay, this is it. That's all we needed. We just need the house blessed, and everything's going to be okay. Well, it wasn't. As a matter of fact, after the priest left, the following morning, things just got worse. I remember being in the shower, and I started to feel a little bit uneasy, and just all these things started coming to my mind. I started thinking about all the little things that had happened prior to, my biggest incident with the vacuum, and the 2 weeks of sleepless nights. And that's when it kind of dawned on me, like, maybe there is something going on that we don't understand. And so the more I thought about it, the more I started getting upset with myself, because I thought, stop thinking this way. The priest just came yesterday. He just blessed the house. There's nothing going on. There's nothing wrong with the house. There's nothing wrong with us. Everything's fine. And as I said that to myself, I was shampooing my hair, and I had my eyes closed. And I don't know why, all of a sudden I just felt like somebody was right there with me. And I kind of opened my eyes, and I just screamed. And I just started looking all around the bathroom, and I couldn't see anything or anybody. And so I just quickly got out. And I was so mad at myself, because I thought, look at what I'm doing to myself. I'm just scaring myself for no reason. And so as I was getting dressed, our shower used to be just glass. And I remember looking up, and as I looked up, the shower stall, at the very top of the shower stall, there was 2 feet. And the more I looked, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, what I was looking at. And I thought, those are 2 feet. Like, 2 feet? Like, how are 2 feet up there? How did they even get up there? And so, yes, it was 2 footprints, like perfect shaped footprints. And I was just taken back by it, because I thought, who made those footprints? Like, you would have to be like way on the top of the shower stall, and by the way that the feet were made, it was as if, whoever was up there had to have been on the top, at the very top of the shower stall, like almost hitting the ceiling, maybe lying sideways to make the feet the way they were. And like I said, you could clearly see like all of the toes and the shape of the feet and everything, and it was just very creepy. And I tried waking up my boys to come see, and my younger son wouldn't wake up. And my husband had already left for work, and my older son, I finally got him to get up, and he was just half asleep and kept thinking that I was just imagining things, that there was nothing there. He couldn't see anything, and I was so frustrated because I thought, I see it, like, don't you see it? And I never told him what I was looking at because I wanted him to see it and tell me, agree with me. But he just kept saying he couldn't see anything, and so I just let it go. But for the next 3 days, I would rush home, and the first thing I would do is I would just turn on the shower and I would just let it run because I was hoping to see the footprints again. But I didn't. But it wasn't until the third day that I realized that, because I started, like, every time that I would turn the water on, just let the hot water run for the steam, I would start making little heart designs on the glass, but I was doing it on the outside, and so they weren't really forming because I was doing it on the outside. And on the third day, I decided to go inside the shower, and I started making little shapes inside the shower, and right away I could see them. So right then and there, it just hit me that, oh my God, like, this was made, the footprints were made from the inside and not the outside. And when I jumped up scared when I was shampooing my hair, it was probably because maybe something or somebody was there. I just couldn't see them. And that's when I realized that maybe what was happening was paranormal, because I couldn't explain the footprints. I couldn't explain anything else that had happened before. And it was just so shocking to me, because I've always been the type of person that, for one, I never believed in ghosts. And I've always been fascinated with the paranormal, but I always just thought it was just make-believe. I was always one of the first people out at the movies when a scary movie would come out. But I always thought that those things were just entertainment on television or on film. I never really believed that those things could really happen. And I never would have ever imagined that anything like that would happen to us. And so it was just so frustrating. And it got to the point where things just escalated and got worse, and we kept it all to ourselves. I think we just had a very small circle of family members and friends that knew something was going on. They didn't even know the extent of the things that were happening to us. They just knew little bits and pieces here and there. But we were just so embarrassed and so ashamed. We didn't want anybody to know, because we didn't know how people were going to react. Because, even now, we have such an incredible story, and I think back sometimes and I think, had this not happened to us, I probably would have a hard time believing my own story if somebody else told me the story. But, things just got worse, and the sad part about it is that I started to question my faith, because, I've always been Catholic, was brought up Catholic, and at the time I was going to church like every week. My family and I would go to church every weekend, and we would pray all the time. And so I couldn't understand why this was happening to us, because I thought, well, things like this don't happen to people that go to church. How could it? And then I started getting angry, because I would pray for this to be over, or whatever it was, to leave us alone. And there was just no relief in sight. I mean, it just seemed like the more I prayed, the worse things got. And so I did stop going to church for a little bit because I was just so angry at what was going on. But that only lasted a short time because I didn't even know. After I stopped going to church and stopped praying and things started getting worse, I didn't know where to turn. I couldn't turn to family. I couldn't turn to my closest friends. And we just felt so alone. We felt like we had nobody to turn to, nobody to tell. And when things happened, my husband and I would argue a lot because I just wanted to leave. And he would tell me, where are we going to go? Where can we go? You know, we can't just pick up and leave. Which was sort of ironic because we used to always watch, when we were stationed in San Antonio, we started watching that show, A Haunting. And I think back now to how we would watch the shows and, you know, people would be describing the things that were happening to them or we would see on the shows. And we would always say to each other, man, if that were us, you wouldn't have to tell us twice. Like, we would be out of there right away. And I never really understood when people would say they would walk into a place and feel the negative energy and feel like darkness in the house. I never understood that until I felt it, because that's the way our house was. As soon as I would walk in the door, I could just feel so much energy, or bad energy, I guess it was, that sometimes I felt I couldn't even breathe. And I always felt like the house was so dark. If I would come home and my husband would be home and he'd have lights turned off, that would turn into a huge argument because I couldn't stand to have the lights off. I would come in and turn on every single light in the house, even if we weren't occupying the room, because I always felt like the house had such darkness to it. And no matter if I opened up all the blinds and the windows and left all the lights on, I was just never getting that relief from feeling that the house was just so dark. And the bad part of it is that it didn't end there at home. Whatever was in our house would follow us. It would follow us when we would come and travel to Corpus and visit our family. And it would follow us to work. So we didn't have anywhere really to go, even if we wanted to, because it would go with us. And it always let you know that it was there. We never saw anything. Never saw anything. But it always made its presence known. And I also believe that it also tried to harm us. I remember one time I had gone on my lunch break from work and my car needed gas. So we used to have a little convertible, and I hated that little convertible. But my husband bought it because he liked it. And so I'm at the gas station getting ready to get down so I can pump gas. And all of a sudden the door would not open. And I made sure that, it was unlocked. I was manually trying to force it open. It wouldn't open. So then I tried the other door. It was just a 2-door little car. And the car it wouldn't open. The other side of the door wouldn't open. And so I tried turning the car on to roll the windows down, and the car wouldn't turn on. I tried pulling the latch on the rooftop to see if maybe I could get that undone, and I couldn't. So I found myself stuck in my car, not being able to come out. And it might have been close to 100 degrees that day, and I could feel I was sweating already. And so I started to panic because I started thinking of, people who leave their kids in the car, and I started thinking to myself, I can't even imagine what they go through, because that had just been just a matter of minutes, and I was already so hot and felt like I couldn't breathe, and I was sweating, and so I called my husband at work, and I told him I'm trapped in my car and I can't get out. And he was like, what do you mean you're trapped in the car? And I said, the car will not turn on. I cannot get out of the car. The doors are locked. They won't open. And he's like, okay, I guess, I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand what you're trying to tell me, but I'll be right there. So all of a sudden, I see a police officer drive up. And I started banging on the window, trying to get his attention. And he finally heard me and turned over and came up to me. And as soon as he came up to me, like, the windows just rolled down by themselves. And he looked at me and he said, "Can I help you?" And I just looked at him. I was so embarrassed. And I said, "Oh, I couldn't turn my car on, but it's fine now." And I thought to myself, how embarrassing was that? And then I blamed it on the car because I thought, no wonder I hate this car so much, and we're going to just get rid of it. I called my husband. I said, the car's fine. There's nothing wrong with it anymore. It turned on, but we're getting rid of it. That's it. And so he was a little bit upset because he's like, you call me all panicky, tell me you can't get out of the car. And it's like, I don't know. So, yeah, it was just little things like that. And like I said, it took us a while before we told family members. And like I said, we really did keep our circle small because we were afraid of judgment. We were afraid that people would not believe us or that we were exaggerating. I used to have a small Shih Tzu. Her name was Coco. And I believe that whatever was in our house harmed my dog one time and inevitably ended up taking her life. I strongly believe that whatever was in our house took our little Coco. And that was just devastating to me because here we had something in the house that we couldn't see, but it could harm us that way. Even though, like, after my incident with the car, the only other person that experienced any type of physical attack was my younger son. He was lying in his room one day, and he says all of a sudden he was pinned, like he couldn't move his hands. It's like somebody was holding onto his arms, not allowing him to move or get up, and he tried screaming and he couldn't, but he said that lasted just a couple of minutes, and then I remember him running to our room, telling us what had happened. So, yeah, and we did get help. Our priest ended up coming a couple of times over to our home to bless the house, but I did meet an employee at my work whose husband was, I guess you call, what you would call curandero. And he did come to our house and bless our house. And the only thing that he told me is that, what he told us when he got there is that he had so much trouble. Like, he knew that we had something evil in our house because the whole entire day as he was preparing to come, just a lot of little bad things were happening to him. Like, things almost as if trying to prevent him from coming to our house. And so that's how he knew that, yeah, they do have something. And the only thing that I remember him telling us is that whatever it was had a voice.
Did she say paint splotches?
Yeah, her son was like, that was weird, right? That's what I was hearing. Like, she was talking about her son, that he had paint that would develop on his shirt, and he was nowhere near paint. And I was wondering what kind of paint that was. Like, if it was like, if you're at art, or is it like latex or something? I never asked, and I should have.
Paint in the house, right?
Was he near video tacos?
No, he was just. No, they were saying that he would be like at like I think one of them was in the class. That would turn to us if we saw that too. Oh. And we're not buying any more shirts. That's it. You want to paint them all you want. Yeah.
What color was it?
You know what? I didn't even snap about that to answer that. They didn't really say. I
didn't hear her say that, but
I told him like 3 times.
Was it red?
Well, no, yeah, because I was wondering, like, was she like 100%? Because I'm sorry, I was going on a little bit. I missed some details. But
Yeah.
Is she like 100% certain it was paint? Like she could smell that it was paint. Or
it was
like
paint, and it got to a point where it was happening to so much. I think, like even the kid was tripping out. Like he was, doing like what you did, put a jacket on. It's like, I'm fine. There's no paint here. Or like
paint to see here.
Or like you wouldn't believe this. I stopped and helped this guy paint his house. So you don't get in trouble. But we make fun, but we kid. But
no, I just because there's a lot of things that like they look like paint, or they like you see it and like, oh yeah, that's like it's.
This would be like a brand new shirt. Like he would have, or just have a shirt on, and it would just appear out of nowhere.
It starts to appear though, is what she was saying. Though. So.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be paint on. It could be.
Well, I mean, whatever it was appearing out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I just was wondering if there
why
was,
though? That's how I was tripping out. I mean, what's?
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy, right? Why paint, right?
Who, like,
That's true.
Was it malicious? Like the
yeah. Oh, I don't know about that.
They brought the priest over, right?
To bless a house.
Yeah, bless a house.
You hear that a lot, and it went south even more.
Yeah.
It got worse. But you hear that sometimes too. Yeah. That's weird. Like they'll bring in, I don't know what that is, or like if you. Oh yeah. Well, and then the feet. Okay. Then that too. That's weird too. Like she said, she was showering, and like she just all of a sudden freaked out. And then I guess that would kind of work on your mind too. You kind of like, what the shit am I doing, man? I can't even take a bath. I'm sitting. Then you look up and that's what I was thinking. That was scared the shit. Yeah. And they're like footprints.
Yeah.
That's kind of trippy, man. But the last one was like, and this is why I'm saying I laugh because if it is in San Antonio, that could kill you, and especially if it's during the summer, if you get locked in your car.
Oh God, yeah.
Man, and that can happen. I imagine. I guess that's what happens sometimes. Like when you're always living with something like that, it always well, you blame everything on it. Like my car, like and I don't know. That may be something that did happen to her, and then what happens? Like it just the windows roll up and down after that. I believe her. Like I said, she went through it. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, she had all kinds of crazy stuff happen already.
And the timing of certain things. I mean, it makes it seem malicious and intentional.
Yeah.
Because if it's just the windows are just going up and down on their own, it's like, okay, well that could be an electrical failure or some sort. But for it to happen with that specific timing, I mean, it could be a coincidence, but just the fact that it wasn't continuing to happen.
That's true. Right?
No, it started working when another individual showed up.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What's concerning is the fact that nothing worked, and she was there banging on that door to get someone else's attention.
Exactly.
And then from that point, nothing. I mean, it was back to normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a much more serious issue.
Yeah.
Much more concerning.
Something
situation.
Playing with you at that point.
Yeah, because I guess you could handle it if it's in the in winter, but like here, man, like what is it like next week? What is it? 104 or something? Bullshit.
We had a car, or we have a second car, but we couldn't keep using it because the battery would just keep whether you're driving or stopped or whatever, so just randomly it just shuts off and it just stops working, right? But that's a continual problem. It's not like it's gonna suddenly start working the second somebody walked up to us, so like that.
Right.
And for it to happen like on the freeway or something like that sort of thing is scary to me as like an idea of like, oh, just the car is not working at all.
Maybe it's not the car. Let me see your shirt.
I know, right? There's paint on
You got paint on your shirt.
That's why he came out like that, right? But yeah, it does get more freaky, man. So, what do you say, fellas?
Let's listen to it.
I wasn't very surprised when he told me that it had a voice, because one of the other things that we had been experiencing is people would call us telling us they were returning our calls, and I would tell them, I'd be surprised by them and say, I didn't call you, and they're like, yeah, you did, you even left a voicemail on the machine, and I would be like, no, I didn't, and they're like, yeah, you did, and I'd be like, okay, and like, you can't argue with that, they were just said that I had called or my husband had called, and we'd be like, oh, well, we didn't call. One of the incidents, one time I was at work, and I remember I was very busy that morning. I was working the front office. I wasn't even in my own office, and I had left my cell phone in my room, in my office, and so when I came back to my room, I noticed that my sister-in-law had called me, which I thought was kind of strange because, she wasn't never made it a habit to call me during the day because she knew I was at work, and she was at work as well. So I called her back, and when she answered, I just told her I was returning her call, and she said, "I didn't call you." And I said I had a missed call from you, and she said, "No." She said, "Actually, I had called you because I had a missed call from you." And I said, "I didn't call you today." And she said, I asked her, I said, "Was it today?" And she said, "Yeah, it was this morning." And I said, "No," I said, "I've been in the front office the whole time. I didn't call you." And she said, "Isabel, you even left me a voice message." And I asked her, I said, "Well, what did it say?" And she said, "It just said, 'Hi, Jeannie, how are you doing? Just calling to see what you're up to. Talk to you later. Call me back.'" And I was like, "No, Jeannie, like, I didn't call you to say that to you." And she's like, "Yes, you did. It's in my message." And we both kind of just stayed quiet for a minute. And she said, "I'll delete it." Because she was actually the one person that had told me about, the jury box, like, to get rid of it. And so another time, my husband had to go to San Antonio for a week. And when he got back, that evening, my younger son was at CCD, my older son was working, and so it was just my husband and I at the house. We were watching a movie in the living room. And I remember his phone rang, and he answered it, and it was an old lady, and she said that she was returning my call. But when he gave me the phone, he just looked at me like, "Who did you give my number to?" And I kind of just looked at him back like, "I didn't give anybody your number." And so when I spoke to the lady, she told me that I had been calling her all weekend long, and she was very busy because she had family visiting, and wasn't able to answer her phone or call me back, but she had time and she called me back. And I said, "No," I said, "You must have the wrong number. I didn't call you. I haven't called you." I said, "Did I call you on this phone?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Well, no." I said, "I didn't even have this phone." I said, "Actually, this isn't even my phone. This is my husband's phone." And so she said, "Well, you've been calling me all weekend long." And so I just apologized to her and told her that it was probably one of my sons or something. But when I hung up, my husband and I kind of got into a little argument because I thought, who's been using your phone? Like, this lady is dead set that I was calling her. I didn't call her, so you must have had somebody calling her. And she's like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." And so we kind of got into a huge argument over it. And so then I decided to call the lady back, and then I told her, "How do you know that it was me? Are you sure that it was me who called you?" And she said, "Ma'am, I don't even know what you're talking about." She said, "Actually," she's like, "before I called you to return your call, I said you had just called me 5 minutes before." And I said, "No, ma'am, I didn't call you 5 minutes before." And she said, "Yes, you did. Your voice is on my machine. It was you who called. It's you who called 5 minutes ago, and it was you who been calling me all weekend long." And I just hung up because I looked at my husband and I thought, no, like this can't be. Like, and so we knew that it had to be something sinister going on. And I think at that point, even though a lot of little things and bigger things had happened, my husband was kind of still in denial. I think up until that point, that's kind of like what really made him realize, like, okay, this is more, beyond what we can handle and take care of. And he was just completely confused and scared and just couldn't believe that, we could have something in our house that we couldn't see, and it was doing all these things and making phone calls on our behalf. And so we were very frightened because we didn't know what we were dealing with. I mean, at the very beginning, when we started thinking that it was paranormal, we thought it was just like a ghost. But we started to realize that it had to have been something a lot more sinister and evil, because of all the things that were happening. And so it was very difficult. It was so hard. And this presence that we had in our home was with us for 7 years. And that's a long time. And even though things didn't happen every single day, I mean, there was times that several months would go by without any incidents. But every time that I would think to myself, oh wow, like, or if I would tell somebody, we haven't had any incidents, like nothing's happened, it always just seemed like it would hear me, because right the next day something would happen. And so I started to try to get into the habit of not even thinking about it anymore, because I didn't want it to come back. And it was just frustrating, because every time that it would leave, like for 3 months at a time, or maybe be dormant, whatever you want to call it, there was even like a whole entire year we didn't have any incident. But it would always find its way back. And as mysteriously as it came, that's how mysteriously it just left. And to this day, I'm happy to say that, we haven't had any more incidents. And
For how long? What was the last year?
2018. Since 2018. And so during the time that we were going through everything that we were going through, I kept a journal. I started to keep a journal of things that would happen, and eventually turned my journal into a book. And so I did write and publish a book called An Evil Among Us. And the only other thing that I want to say is that it took us a long time to let family members know what was really going on, because, like I said, we were ashamed and embarrassed about our situation, even though there was nothing we could do to control it or to get rid of it. We felt that we're just going to get a lot of judgment. But it's during these times that you really do need your family, the support and love of your family and your friends, because had it not been for our close family members that did know, I mean, they helped us get through it a lot, especially my mom. I remember being so frightened all the time, and the only comfort that I really got throughout this whole thing is I remember my mom would call me every single day. She would call me every single day, and she would tell me, I spoke to the priest today and he said this or he said that. But I remember her telling me that the priest had told her that if we had been baptized, that no matter what was in our house, it could not harm us. And so I hung on to that. Every single time that I would be so frightened that I would cry myself to sleep, I would think about that, and that would bring me comfort. So I'm so grateful to my mom, because had she not told me that, I don't know how I would have gone through it, because I lived in fear every single day. And even now that our family knows everything that happened to us, I still have family members that don't support me or don't support us. There's family members that will never purchase my book or pick up my book and read it because of its contents. I have family members that believe that my book is evil, or that I'm evil, or that we did something to conjure up this evil. But and it's pretty sad. But the one thing that I really want people to know and understand is that my book is not evil. I'm not evil. And we didn't do anything to ask for this. Evil has no prejudice. It doesn't matter what religion you are or what faith you follow. If you're white or black, red or blue, this can happen to you. I was a non-believer, but I believe I was forced into a spirit world that I didn't even know existed.
Isabel, looking back, what do you think maybe that was or caused it? Did you ever get rid of that jewelry box?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. The day that I came back from my spring break trip, it took me a whole hour before I got the courage to do it, but I remember walking into my bedroom, throwing a towel over it because I was so nervous and frightened just to even touch it. I stuck it inside a trash bag and I threw it out in my front yard because the next day it was trash pickup, and so it went with the trash. But the things still continued. And it's interesting though, because when we finally sold the house and moved to Corpus, a few days after the new owners moved into the house, our realtor started calling me. She called me every day for 3 nights in a row, wanting me to give her our security code to the alarm, because she would tell me that the new owners would complain that in the middle of the night, the alarm system would go off and they had no way of shutting it. They needed the code. And I told her, there is no code, there is no security alarm. We took everything back to the provider, the service provider. There's nothing there. I can give you the code, but there's no box for you to type in that code. I don't know what to tell you. They'll call me the next day. She would call me again, and like I said, for 3 nights in a row, she called me telling me this, and I knew what it was, and it made me sick to my stomach, because that was my biggest fear when we were selling the house, that it would end up, haunting them. And the only thing that gave me comfort about that is thinking, well, no, it won't harm them or do anything to them, because the house is not haunted. We're the ones that are haunted. And so I felt a little bit of comfort knowing that. But strangely, they only lasted in that house for 3 months. After 3 months, they put the house for sale.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't checked to see whatever happened, if it sold again, or if people there have resold the house or anything. I haven't kept up with it. But it's so strange, because I think to myself, it bothered them, but then it continued to bother us. How strange. Seems like it would just go back and forth, I guess. I don't know.
How about now, though? I mean, how's everything going now?
Nothing I could say is anything paranormal now. My mother-in-law passed away about a year ago. She was living here with us, and she died here in our home. And sometimes I feel like her spirit is still with us. She was just so fond of my grandson. I mean, she loves him to death. And as a matter of fact, last weekend, he had a little football that I had bought him a while back. And my dog got a hold of it and just completely flattened it up. And so when he came to visit last weekend, he saw it, and he was so upset because, his football, right? And I told him, don't worry about it. Grandma will buy you another one. I will go out and buy you another one. Well, the next day, the ball was as good as new. Somebody had put air in it, and I asked my husband, did you put air in Elijah's football? He said, no, I don't have anything to put air in it. And I asked my son, and he hadn't, and I knew I hadn't. And so I thought, but the ball's good as new now. And so that's my story. My book is titled An Evil Among Us, and it's available on Amazon. It sells for $18 on Amazon. It's also available at Fort Hood Main Exchange with Words Unite bookstore. And I have a Facebook page called Author Isabel Perez, and that's usually where I have also information about myself in my book. Get yourself a copy. I've gotten a lot of great reviews from my book.
The phone calls, where's it at a trip?
The phone call? You know what I first thought now? I don't know if y'all had the same thing. I'm sure y'all did. I don't think it's that bad anymore, but for a little while there, I was always getting phone calls from like numbers that were close to mine. Like the first 3 digits of my phone number.
Like junk calls?
It was just junk calls.
Oh, but these were familiar because she said she got a call from her sister-in-law. Like, so returning the call? Man, wasn't that a trip? And she had like the recording. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. This is different. But I was just saying that's the first thing I thought of was when that was happening. Because I thought, well, those scammers or whatever, they hijack phone numbers and they turn around and they use them to call people. And so, like, I've returned them before too, and it's just a person like, no, I never called you. I'm like, well, whatever. But I'm like, I know you did. I have it right here. But they're like, it wasn't them that placed a call. They hijack phone numbers to do the spammers do that.
Okay.
But for the fact that her voice was heard.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Now that was freaky. That was different now because that was just the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
But then when she said, "Oh no," they actually have her audio. They have a recording of her leaving a message. I'm like, hold on, that is crazy.
Now I do have to ask, how long ago was this? Because AI lately has gotten crazy.
Say that.
I was just about to. We all heard the same thing about it's your voice that you hear, and like if
it's
you're
like your brother's, sisters, or somebody. His voice.
Did you hear that? AI is getting crazy.
Oh, it is. It's crazy.
I've seen on TikTok and YouTube and like all over the place, people are using voices of past presidents to just they'll do like let's plays, like video game let's plays, like where they're all like talking to each other, and it's like Trump talking with Bush and Obama and Biden, and like they're all like they're talking. Like, and it sounds like them. And it's all AI that's using generated like voice, like an artificial voice basically that's just generated by you just shove a bunch of a person's voice into it, and it reads and everything like that. And so that is possible that somebody did that with her voice. Why?
Because this didn't happen recently. No, that AI has been recent. It's like hers has been. I think she mentioned something like 5 years. I could be wrong. I got bad memory.
There was no like usually the people that are using your voice for AI.
They're trying to scam you.
I mean, usually they don't leave messages. They just like move on to the next victim.
But I think me and David looked at each other when we were hearing this part about how. She started chewing her husband out.
Oh, yeah. Because the phone, like, oh, wait a minute, this was my husband's phone.
And that's probably whatever was doing that to them, that's probably what it was.
Well, it's just some random lady. She said, like, an elderly lady called her back and told her, hey, you've been calling me. And then, like, her husband, like, who you been giving my number to? And then she said, what lady you been having call that old lady? So I know that feeling right there. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, he got it too. So the poor guy too. But it must have freaked her out. Like when she told her, like, hey, no, it was you who called me. As a matter of fact, you just called me 5 minutes ago before, we got another phone. I was like, whoa, that's just such a trip.
That's freaky.
Mischievous, I would say, but I guess to others it would be more like, that is frightening, man.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I don't know if we said this on the thing, but we're talking about people who were scamming people. I'm not going to say no names, but they called somebody and they were trying to scam somebody that we know, and that person gave them their information.
What the hell?
And they said, oh, we were gonna try to scam you, but you got no money. You got no money,
you got no money.
They make donations.
I was like, that first saw that's sad because they had to change everything after that.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
That's horrible.
Then like insult.
And then they call you out.
The moon,
I tell you what,
by a scammer.
We're gonna go ahead and send you some money.
Sorry.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
But back to the phone call stuff though. I don't know. I'm sorry. I gotta like call this out. That feels so much like something right out of the Mandela catalog. Have any of you guys heard of that? I know Padre showed you around one of them, like
the Mandela effect. Same thing. We covered that.
No.
Is this a Silverian Thoughts segment?
It could.
Lay it on me, brother.
It could be. I mean, I don't think so, but.
Alright, well, give us the gist of it.
Okay, so no, the Mandela catalog, it's pure fiction. It is basically like an analog horror series on YouTube. It's hard to explain, but the idea behind it is like, you know those old like public service announcements?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, right, and it's like giving like, oh, this is an alert to blah blah blah, like
let's say the emergency broadcast.
Emergency broadcast. And
this is only a test.
Yeah, it's like in that style, like it's a story told in that style almost, where the like basically like the world is being invaded by quote unquote alternates, which is essentially just alternate versions of people, and they're just there to kill people and like just take their place, and essentially like there's like this whole backstory and like lore behind it, which it is almost like religious in a way, where like the devil is like corrupting the world and using like television and like all this other stuff to kill people and just ruin the world and stuff like that. It is a phenomenal horror thing, and it's the visuals and the sound is like sounds like something out of like the 80s, or like it's so weird, but it's so creepy. And having that experience of having somebody call back being like, hey, I just heard your voice on the other call, you just called me, that sounds like something that would come straight out of the Mandela catalog, which is kind of freaky for that to have happened to somebody, because your voice shouldn't be coming from someone that's not you, you know?
Exactly.
And that's one of the things in the Mandela catalog, is that people will hear the voice of somebody they know, and it's used to taunt them and to frighten them.
Okay, I mean, we have several doppelganger ones that we had before.
Exactly.
Could that kind of fall under that category?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she may have not saw herself, but somebody mimicking that voice.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting.
I'm not saying like that is connected in any way at all.
It makes you think like, hey, you know, that's kind of crazy.
It's so fascinating, because there's like a certain point in like one of the videos, there's like a certain point where somebody like, and again, all of it's told like through text and like weird, like funky, like automated voices, and it's like just so weird and like unnerving, and the sound design is crazy. But the person like that's not my mom. My mom's like here, and
the doppelganger, the one that replaced her.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
pod
so
person.
The guy goes back to his room.
Did I say pod person? Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So the guy goes back to his room, locks the door, and I was like, and I gotta, you know, it's like, I'm staying here, I'm not leaving, and like. It plays like a clip of somebody like, come out, Mark, like, come out to play with me, but like it's like in a weird like, and it's like, that's not my mom, you know, the guy like is freaking out.
Oh, so okay, so I don't even know what she even get up to. So when my mom would tell us about like the 3 days of darkness, she would be like, tell us all these, you know, crazy things that are supposed to happen, and then she would say, and then that your loved ones would be outside. And they'd be calling for you to come out, and not to like open the door at all. Like you had to stay inside. So I'm like,
I mean, that could, like, you know, like, but then you're like, wait a minute, Grandma's dead, you know, like for real. And then like she's still calling you. Ven, mijo, tiene dulce. She got handed, and my fat ass. Oh, look, she got chicharrones.
Bad candy.
I'm opening the door right now, but
hey, you got chicharrones. The door's open.
Yeah, come on in, Grandma. And like, it's a 10-foot being, right? Like, you're not Grandma,
but I'll take them chicharrones.
Anyway,
but yeah, I knew there was a reason why that story was so unnerving to me, because it reminds me of that.
That's true, though, right? That's what the first thing popped up on my mind when she was talking to me. I said, man, that sounds like a doppelganger, but maybe not. The thing is, some like random older lady, you know, why would you screw with her? What is that? What is the point of doing that? You know, why did you pick this woman? And then she could sound like the way she was talking about it, like the woman was very irritated. Stop calling me!
Exactly.
You know, we didn't even bring it up in the first segment we got, was the jewelry box. I remember her talking like, you know, like, and I tell Mom all the time, man, we come to a yard sale, beautiful thing, man, but you never know what you're getting. I'm totally serious about that.
Sometimes I don't want the stuff in the house, so I say that stuff. Oh, it's haunted.
You say, oh, I'm gonna bless it. I'm gonna bless it. Then she took the 2 elephants out.
Oh,
We purchased 2 nice elephants. Those were nice.
Like plushes?
No, they were like
ceramic.
I think they were ceramic. I thought they were wooden, but she said they were ceramic.
But then that week, a bunch of negative shit started happening.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
And then she was like, "Oh, I'm taking them out." And I said, "You know, one of them's worth about $300. We should sell them."
That sounds about right.
What's up with the damn security code?
Oh, the security
There's not
code,
even
I
a
know.
box there.
Yeah.
So where were they? I'm so stupid, man. I was just thinking about, I think my dinner's ready, so I'm going to end this. If you have a security system, where does that go? Like fire, police, ambulance, how does that work?
Police.
Well, it does, right? I mean, because it goes to police. So that, okay. She was saying that they need the punch, they need the code, they need it for 3 days in a row. And she told him, look, man, we don't even have the pad. You know,
So
there's
I'll
not
give
even
you
a
the code,
pad.
but there's nowhere to punch
Like,
it
and she
into.
gave her a code, right? She probably just made it up. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 12, 34. Try that one.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm just thinking, like, at this point, you've had other people have phone calls from you, supposedly, right? Who's to say it's what didn't happen the other way around? What if that wasn't the realtor she was talking to the whole time?
Oh, I got something on that.
Reason.
That's a good point, because like they sounded irritated, but I feel bad for her because everybody's bitching at her after that. And I never touched the phone, but something I'm hoping she doesn't mind that I say this, but something that trippy did happen when I had my Facebook. I believe it was on our Rigor Mortis one. I think it was the day after we had the interview. That was it. You know, I didn't really contact her back. The day after that, I believe it was a Tuesday, and I believe that Wednesday, something like that. There was you guys, we still may have it on the Facebook for the Rigor Mortis Paranormal. There was a message that came out: is anybody available to chat? And I didn't think nothing of it, and I knew we were super busy. I was super busy that day. I couldn't do anything, and I feel bad. And I just kind of left it alone. Yep, that's the way we are over here, Rigor Mortis. You want to chat? We're like, maybe later. But the next day, there was a message that said that was not me.
Oh my God.
That's what I said.
I think I remember you telling me.
And I told you guys, I said, hey, let me just get with you guys before I call her. I want to let y'all know. It may be nothing, it may be something. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I was like, well, I don't want to say nothing because she's been saying that, hey, she's been peaceful for like 5 years. And to me, I don't know if you start recognizing shit like that, you kind of give it more power. I don't want to be no part of that lady having like issues like that again. That, you know, I'd feel really bad, and I know we all would. But, you know, our reporting side, you know, the side that we must, you know, we gotta entertain her, and sometimes it's not really worth it, but I freaked out when that happened. Yeah. I believe she told me that sometimes that she gets messages from others that tell her the same thing, like, hey, you know, you got a kind of weird message at, not weird that's like weird, but like it was at a strange time, 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't forget to brush your teeth or whatever, you know. But when she said that, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. I don't know how to look at that. I want to give them more power, but like, well, that's what we do.
Because on the other hand, going the other direction with it, sometimes you try to send like a message, and just depending on the internet connection or the local servers, like it might not go through right away. So it could have been that message was from earlier, and she forgot about it, and it just went through, and she's like, oh wait, what's this? And it was like, oh, that wasn't me. That's not likely. As just given her past experiences, it's not likely that happens.
Because I know that's true. That's what I was saying about the car too. Maybe like she said, it was a piece of shit car. Yeah. And I hate to do this too, because sometimes we look at the logical explanations. Yeah. But I mean, some of it, man, is not. I mean, that's just trippy shit for your sister-in-law to call you back and
but
like.
That is true. And he was saying, like, what if she was having conversations with people she thought were family, but it wasn't.
That's what caught me. When he told me that, caught me off guard too.
Yeah. What if the realtor, air quotes, the realtor was not the realtor? It was asking for the code. You're just calling 3 days in a row, like, hey, give me the code. What if that code was also the code to something else? Or what if whatever was messing with them just was messing with them?
Yeah, you know? That's true too, because what is she going to say? Well, I knew because it was her voice. Oh, now we're just getting really deep, man.
I know, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take things.
What if
no, but it is. It's something to think about.
Replaced by another.
A hot person? I know mom would, man. Some built dude, right, about a foot taller, you know, well endowed. Sorry.
Just because, I mean, if I'm in that situation and I have somebody like, you're calling me like, hey, give me the code for the thing, and I know that stuff should not be going on because everything was taken out, I'm like, I'm not giving the code. I mean, I don't care. You know?
Because that's another thing too, because she said when she gave it to him, it almost sounded like, yeah, you know, I'm already fed up with this shit, man. It's just too much shit to go through.
Go to your bank account.
Yeah, it's like, you know what, here's my social security number, here's my account number, just leave me alone. Awesome story.
Overall, it was a crazy story.
It's good to hear that it's slowing down and art did stop, and I'm not going to dwell on that too much. Thank you so much, Isabel Perez. That was the bomb. B-O-M-B. Actually, Dave, I think we got her.
Yes. Well, I was just going to mention, her book. You can buy her book called An Evil Among Us. You can get it on Amazon, actually. So just look for Isabel Perez. Again, the name of the book is An Evil Among Us. And if you're in the Fort Hood, Texas area, it's available there at the bookstore called Words Unite Bookstore. And then if you want to reach out to her on Facebook, you can reach her at author Isabel Perez is her handle. Mm-hmm. So yeah, any one of those, you can get a hold of her. She's a really super, super nice lady. Very patient.
Yeah, very patient. Yeah. Hopefully she hears it, she's more patient.
So you need to get a hold of us.
We still have our site. We still have
email, right?
Email. Yeah.
Email.
Reach us by email. Rigor Mortis Paranormal at gmail.com. Facebook,
Instagram, Twitter, you name it.
You can listen to us on all the major platforms, including Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, whatever, Stitcher,
we just bragging now,
Radio.
Right? They're all out there. And it's like David said, thank y'all for not only Isabel, everybody else for being patient with us. And I wish we could make a living off of this podcast. I know all of us wish that, but just be patient with us.
We're 5 years in.
We've been doing this for 5 years.
Almost, I think 6.
Like that.
6 years.
6.
And we haven't hit 100.
Oh my God. That's pretty sad. Yeah, 59. This is episode 59. Yeah.
That's pathetic, man. Shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Pick it up, man. We'll go.
But this was a lot of fun, man. Maybe we can do it a little earlier and get some good shut-eye, man, before we come down here. All right, fellas. I'm thinking it's about that time. And we'll get it again, hopefully soon.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and be sure to share us. And see you next time.
Bye.
You take that back, you fat bitch.